And hello again, folks. It is I, Kamikaze, here to bring you more Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. And, well, it's been a little while since I've, well, it hasn't been that long since whoop. My cans decided to jump ship. We're just going to continue where we left off, which was the beginning of the investigation of the death of Jackass. I'm still not too terribly sad. Let's jump into this. There's a hole in the stomach surrounded by blood. It definitely looks like the blood of one of Monokuma's tricks, but apparently he had nothing to do with this. Then, does that mean the killer did this? If so, is this one of their tricks instead? I have no idea at all. This is... it's an oil lighter. This is where the curtains would have been hanging. It also looks like the fire did extensive damage here. The oil lighter was placed here.
Just kidding.
Wow, I didn't expect her to be sarcastic.
Bring it on. Well? Which means...
a delayed issue, maybe?
You are right.
Then why did they set the body on fire? They caused the fire to destroy evidence? That's the only reason I can think of why a killer would set a fire to a crime scene, but... oil lighter has been added to the truth bullets. Fire grenades, which may have been no, that wouldn't have been. Looks like a bunch of plastic bottles. Remnants of a plastic are scattered all over the place. This is probably... those fire grenades that were used to put out the fire. Well, they weren't actually that useful in the end. The fire was only extinguished thanks to the sprinklers. Well, nevertheless, this evidence really isn't all that strange. Well, what if they're full of, like, lighter fluid or oil or something, because they took care of the other fire extinguishers? Anything else around here? I never expected Nagito to die like this. I actually expected him to survive until the end. He always spouted nonsense about hope and trying to confuse the hell out of us. I mean, he couldn't have done this... well, no, he couldn't have done this to himself. Because of the knife in his left hand and tied up with his left hand, knife in his right hand. This is concrete? How did they stab a knife through concrete? But even so, dying like this is too cruel. Also, he wasn't completely useless. There are times we only were able to reach the truth because of him. But everything good and bad about him is gone. Well, we'll never be able to be confused by him again. We'll never be saved by him again. No, now isn't the time to think about unnecessary things. I need to focus on the investigation right now. For now, I need to investigate everything about this body that catches my eye. Wait a moment, why is there a rope burned there? Unless he did do this to himself. Nagito's right wrist was tied with a rope, but it looks like the tip of that rope burned off. Could this be a result of the fire? That's weird. The rope was burned off like this. Why are Nagito's clothes completely unaffected by the fire when he was so close to the blaze? Burned rope has been added. Maybe he did do this to himself. Because with that free hand, he would have the ability to slash up that arm, that leg, and pull a rope, and I just don't understand how his hand gets stuck there. I mean, I'm trying to deduce this before anything happens to try and have an idea, but I really don't think I'm gonna pull anything out of my butt from this. Because, seriously, I don't understand the burned rope, and the fact that this arm is clean, but all the rest of them... And then, I just don't get it. Let's investigate some more. Not the spear. What about this? This! Hello? It won't let me investigate this. I'm making me investigate the spear. A spear with a flashy ornament is impaled deeply into Nagito's stomach.
What's this? Phew!
So, is this your first time looking at this too? Gungnir? Definitely just came up with that right now.
Hey! Hey! What? What the hell?
Wait, if someone's controlling you, how can you be designed to be afraid of mice? I see. Even he doesn't even know what's inside that castle. Oh, that's a part of the spear. I thought it was a... But look, there's blood on it. How? I don't see. Well, more importantly, I need to focus on the investigation. The spear definitely catches my eye, but the weight on the end of the cord is coming out of the handle. It looks like a part has blood on it too. But for some reason, this section of the cord doesn't have blood on it. It's about the size of a human fist. It's strange that this section of the cord doesn't have blood on it. And his hand doesn't have blood on it up there. Was he like holding on to it? I mean, seriously, this seems kind of like he did it to himself, but is he that crazy? Also, Chiaki mentioned this earlier, but apparently that spear came from Nezumi Castle. Might be better if I confirm that later. Spear of Gungnir! There's a cut on his upper left arm. His legs on his right hand have stab wounds, but this wound looks like a slice. That's probably the reason that the wound is on his left arm. Doesn't look that deep compared to his other wounds. Well, regardless, it doesn't change the fact that it's a hideous wound. And there's blood everywhere.
Super difficult.
Strange? What?
See?
Yeah, it definitely cuts off. Maybe that's as far as the blood could reach when it's splattered. There's something else that's strange? Yeah, it's covered in blood, right?
Well?
Also blood. Yeah? You're right, Drake. Why is it the only on? Why is it only on this part?
See?
Yes, you do. Yeah, sure. You win. But it's definitely strange. What did the killer do to make the blood splatter like this? The knife stabbed through Nagito's right hand. Did the killer do this? how could they do something so cruel? Military base. But now that you mention it, you're right. It looks like a survival knife.
Well,
Which means, after the killer was finished stabbing Nagito's leg and left arm, they stabbed the knife through his right hand?
it cannot be. How cruel.
Then, does that mean the killer went to the trouble of using two weapons, a knife and a spear? But they could have just killed him by stabbing him with a knife. Why did they need to use a spear at all?
You are right.
Because then it looked like he stabbed himself and he killed himself? I don't know. A reason they had to use a spear, huh? He must have been in great pain. He clearly had this agonizing look on his face when he died. His mouth is covered with duct tape. Was this to keep Nagito from screaming for help?
This is bad.
Yes, Chiaki? Chiaki moved past Kazuichi and me and squatted down next to Nagito's face. And in one swift movement, she ripped the duct tape off his mouth. Hey, wait, what are you doing?
It's gonna be fine.
Hey, hey, hey! Man.
Hey, hey.
But no blood under the duct tape means he was duct taped before this all happened.
Huh?
Well,
Yeah? She means Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape before he got those wounds all over his body. So he tried to shout, which caused the duct tape to get sucked into his mouth a bit. But what's wrong with that? Is something we really need to worry about?
yep.
Anyway, this might be some kind of clue too. I should remember it. Both of Nagito's legs are tied up. Each rope is tied to the pillars nearby. He wouldn't have been able to move at all. In the Monokuma file, the wounds on his legs are all stab wounds. Does that mean the killer didn't just tie up Nagito? They also stabbed his legs? Why would the killer do something like that?
Damn it!
Torture?
Huh?
Which means the wounds all over Nagito's body were from the killer torturing him? If that's the case, what was the killer trying to make Nagito confess? Was it something that would have led to the traitor?
Even so. Damn it!
But even if they held a grudge against him, would they really have gone this far? Torture wounds has been added to the truth bullets. I guess I'm done with the area surrounding Nagito's body. Jeez. I can't believe I actually investigated such a grisly-looking body. Even I'm surprised at myself. At this point, you shouldn't be. Does this mean I'm used to it? My classmate's dead body is right in front of me, and one of my peers is the killer responsible. I have to investigate his death so I can find his killer. Am I used to something as abnormal as that? That would mean I'm becoming abnormal too. What else can I investigate around here? I mean, I can't see the sprinkler system.
Like... Huh? That's obviously wrong! Jeez.
Does that mean you don't think that will happen?
Well, yeah. Hey, hey! Shut up! Shut up! Damn it!
Anyway, like you said before, if we screw up here, it's the end for us. For now, let's just focus on the investigation. We'll think about the countdown after we live through the class trial.
I know. You...
Oops, McGee, what do you have for us? What doesn't matter?
So...
If it was at noon, what were we doing at that time?
It's time.
Well, that clock actually looks like it's saying it's 3 o'clock. So it has a clock function? Why does he look so pale for 30 minutes ago? Fresh seems like a bad way to describe it. You're right. Those fake bombs were originally supposed to explode at noon.
All right!
Also, the crime looks very detailed, so they would have needed time to prepare.
All right!
Well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That means they had to have rigged it to happen at noon if it's a fresh kill, because they'd have to have time to torture him.
Huh?
Yeah, that's the problem. Great.
So just as I thought.
I don't know what it's about this game, but I continuously yawn while playing it, always. What am I investigating at this point? Looks like she's in deep thought while staring at the ceiling. What happened? Is there something strange about the ceiling?
Yep.
The one with the sprinkler heads that activated to put out the fire?
Well... See?
Yeah? I already figured that the spear fell from the ceiling. Huh? You're right, Drink. Oh, I definitely see it. It looks like a small red line on the ceiling girder.
Perhaps...
Blood? The color definitely looks like blood. But there's no way blood could get up there, right? Plus, it's in a straight line. It's definitely strange. over this. Now then, I guess that's enough investigating the area behind the curtain. The killer's goal wasn't just killing Nagito. Should have been another reason as well. If not, they wouldn't have gone through the trouble tying him with rope and covering his mouth with duct tape. Not just that, there's no reason to inflict any wounds other than a fatal one. So, what was the reason? Looks like I better investigate the other areas to figure that out. Alright, I should try investigating the other areas inside this warehouse first. But wait, if he was, thing, like, it's, you know, weight or whatever goes up over here, into his hand, if the killer inflicted those wounds, then stabbed him in the hand, but made him hold the spear, that's why his hand wouldn't have had any blood on it. Means he couldn't have inflicted it on himself. Because if he used that hand to inflict it on himself, it would have had blood on it, and he would have had to have been able to stab him his own hand. Which he couldn't have done. Especially with the fact of all the tying and whatnot. Why they didn't tie him to a girder, I don't understand. That I still don't understand at all. But it would explain why there was a no blood on that rope. And then when he finally lost his grip on that rope, that the spear came crashing down, killing him. Oh, at least that's something I've got in my head. Alright, so... Oh! The Monokuma panels tipped over like a domino effect. There are a lot of tipped over Monokuma panels. The panel near the curtain in the back is tipped over and burned. Did fire do that? But why are they scattered like this? The last time I came here, I seem to recall... should have been neatly put away. Huh?
See?
Oh, you're kidding me. It was set up for when we open the door? But then that would mean that there'd either have to be another entrance, and or Nagito did this to himself. Well, I mean, he's bizarre enough to do that. Could it be? Was that it?
Well? Hey.
Yeah. Compared to the other tipped over panels, that line is the only one that's neat and orderly.
So...
Strange. That means we can speculate this was done intentionally. This is an MP3 player. There's even a speaker plugged into it. But why is this here?
Maybe...
Looks like that weird music was playing from there. Oh, maybe to prevent hearing these panels being fallen over. Yeah, you're right. Drink. Looks like it's busted from getting drenched by the sprinklers. Why was the killer playing music from this? But yeah, I mean, okay, this is now looking like, unless there's another entrance into this place, that he did this to himself again. Did he, like, slam his hand on the knife or something while he was tied up to the other three things? Because you'd think they would tie up his fourth arm. His other arm. Huh. There are a bunch of books stacked on top of each other. Apparently they contain monocular poetry and photos. The sprinklers completely soak them. I can't even turn the pages anymore. Well, it's not like I'm missing much. Looks like Sonia is focused on investigating the warehouse, which reminds me, there's something I need to ask her about. Now that we're pretty much finished investigating Nagito's body, I think it's time to talk to her. Hey Sonia, do you have a minute? I want to talk to you about when that fake bomb Nagito set in the warehouse exploded.
Huh?
Right before it exploded, you said something like this, right? Why did you know the bombs were fake? That's not all either. We were looking for the bombs. Why were you at the military base? I thought you were supposed to be searching the central island. Plus, when I called for you, you didn't come to the factory right away. Where were you and what were you doing during that time?
Oh my! It cannot be!
Ah, a little bit. Jesus shit, you son of a bitch! Sonia?
I am sorry!
That's the first time I heard her cuss. Huh?
Well?
Does that mean when you heard Nagito planted bombs, you got suspicious and went to investigate them?
That is...
And because you were searching for them, you were late when we all gathered.
Please listen!
How did you find out the bombs at the military base were fake? What? What?
I see. I see. However, that plan was an utter failure. The bomb was not real. It was merely a fireworks display. God damn it all to hell!
I'm sorry, listening to her try and be vulgar like that, that is just weird. I mean, really weird.
I see. So that's why you're the only one who knew the bombs at the military base were fake.
I did. As did Monami as well. She was also secretly peeking at the bomb. Which means...
Yeah, that is also strange. What about that? Look at him up there. Ah! That is actually a really good point. If so, then Nagito's actions were extremely calculated. But the problem is his reason for doing it.
Do you have a minute?
You're right, I got it. Alright, I've pretty much finished looking for clues inside the warehouse. I was able to find some clues, but there's still so many things that I don't understand yet.
Hold it.
Yeah, I am.
Well,
What do you mean? You mean it's good to investigate other places as well? She might be right. There are several things I've been wondering about besides the crime scene. The military base that Sonia mentioned, the plushie factory next door. Nezumi Castle where the spear originally came from, and Nagito's room too. If I'm going to understand the reason for his actions, I need to know more about him.
Can you hear me?
In response to Chiaki, the others gathered around her.
I see.
Huh?
Yep. See?
You don't really need to say that.
Hey!
There's no time for us to stand around. In order to survive, there's no way except to do it. In order to survive, we need to find Nagito's killer. If we don't sacrifice that person, nobody can survive. That's our reality. That's why there's no time for us to stand around. Quick. Oh, well, at this point, I'm going to call the episode here, so if you folks had fun, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, do all the fun things, and I'll see you next time in Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair.